Injury prevention tips. Something when you first start doing martial arts you wouldn't think is something you even need to consider, especially when you are young. But as you get older, as you get more experience, you realise how important injury prevention is. So here are a little few tips that I do myself and I follow. Excuse my voice, I've just got back from Vietnam, and that is probably from shouting at everyone on the road for driving like a complete noob. Sick time in Vietnam, sick time. I highly recommend doing the Hashan loop if you haven't already. But first off, let's go through ego. If you know something is going to injure you in training, don't do it. Don't do it. For example, if you've got a bad shoulder and you know rolling is going to injure you, don't roll. If you know sparring is going to injure you if you've got a bad toe, don't do it. If you know you getting hit in the eye is going to injure you because for some reason you've got a black eye from the day before, don't do it. This is where your ego can take over, and especially for mine, this is what happened to me. When I got injured with my concussion, I shouldn't have been sparring anyway because I had one hand. I had a broken hand. Why am I sparring with one hand? And that is ego. So if you can learn to not put ego in the way, it's going to prevent some sort of injuries. If you are completely exhausted, take the day off. This does not mean if you're a little bit tired, take it off. I don't mean be a pussy. I mean if you are completely exhausted and you training is going to compound into even worse training the day after and the day after. So we want to think of quality, because when you're exhausted, that is when injuries are more likely to happen because you're going to be a bit more clumsy. If you are injured, avoid the activities that could make it worse. That's very similar to the first one. But like I did, learn from my mistakes. I had a broken hand. Do not spar with a broken hand. Do your drills and stuff, because I'm sparring fight style fighting with people ready for fights. Well, for me, it was my head. I got hit with a headshot because I couldn't block with that hand and I got kicked through. But if I wasn't sparring, that wouldn't have happened. And that is just because I wanted to spar, well, when I shouldn't have, because I had a broken hand. And last one is don't spar like, I'm going to put this in capital letters, so imagine that's in capital letters, I'm going to go dickhead. Don't spar like a complete dickhead. Don't be a dick, because if you're a dick, you're going to injure people. And if you're being a dick, you're probably more likely going to be injured. Because if someone goes hard on me, I'm going to go hard back. The harder sparring you go, the more likely you are going to get injured. Time and a place to do fight sparring, but there's been a dick and there's been a dickhead. So make sure you're not one of them. Next one, sleep. Sleep is something that will help prevent the injuries. If you do not get sleep, you will be tired. If you are tired, you're more likely to get injured. If you are having a lack of sleep, you're more likely to get concussions. Let's take concussions for example. Sleep, deep sleep, in fact, very important. You need, as an average human, 45 minutes. As an athlete, it's an hour of deep sleep. The reason for this is you've got your spine. Your spine's here. You've got synovial fluid in your spine. Your head gets toxins every single day. Every day. And we need to clear them. If we don't get this deep sleep, that's not going to happen. Because when we get deep sleep, it releases, it goes through the brain, and it flushes out all the crap in your head from the day before. All the information, everything. This is not just if you do combat sport, this is every human being. It's just if you're an athlete, you're probably going to need a little bit longer. So if you ever feel groggy waking up in the morning, it could be this. Could be this because you've gone to sleep and woken up with exactly the same amount of information in your head from the day before because you haven't had enough deep sleep to get the synovial fluid in and around your brain and wash it all out. And then if this happens, you're more likely to get concussions. But also being tired leads to being clumsy, which could lead to other sort of injuries as well, not just concussions. Next one. This one is important. Very important. Something I believe I couldn't do. I think mentally, it might have been an ego thing. I struggled doing this. But now, I'm picky. If there's someone I don't like, I'm just not going to train with them. Maybe when you're younger, or when I was, I just didn't want to be that dick that goes, I'm not training with you, I'm not training with you. Whereas now, I don't care. I don't care about being the one being a knob. So if I go, oh, I'm not going to train with you, some people might think you're a knobhead, not training with me. But you've got to put yourself as a priority, not them. If you don't like training with them because you always get injured, just avoid it. There's people in my gym that I'll avoid training with or touch sparring with because I know when we touch spar, they just end up hitting me really hard with no gloves, and then one of us are going to get injured. So I purposely avoid them. If there is a dude who is a shit training partner, avoid him. Period. Even if you think you look like a dick for saying no, just don't train with them, go on the bag. I do it now. When I was probably first starting, maybe I didn't do that as much. Now, go with someone you can drill properly. Find a good training partner. This is going to avoid you from getting injured. You should have a few go-tos. You should be there in the gym and you see your training partner from the other side of the gym. They know it, you know it. You make the connection, eye contact. That is key. That is key. So with this, you've got to pick your partners wisely. I have a couple partners that I will choose to go with within a session, even if there's 50 people on the mat, because I know we train together the best and I'm less likely to get injured and I'm going to get a good session out of that. My session is for me. My session is not for someone else. So I don't care if I hurt someone's feelings because I won't partner up with them. I'm training for me. I'm not training for you. And I'm going to put that first because I do not want to get injured and be out for 12 months or be out for 2 years or even be out for my life, because some injuries can be life-threatening, especially in the combat realm. Next one, hydration. Bad hydration can lead to a higher chance of concussion, cramps, fatigue. And let me tell you one thing about hydration. If you are peeing clear, it still doesn't mean you are actually hydrated within your blood. What you need is to make sure you've got the right sodium, magnesium, potassium. All these electrolyte balances need to be correct. But the main one that I look at is sodium. Sodium. You sweat out 200 mg to 1500 mg a session. If it's an hour, that's per hour. That's average. So one person could do 200, one person could do 1500. If you sweat out 15 mg of sodium, you need to put that back in your body to start properly getting hydrated, because the sodium allows the water to be absorbed into your blood, into your brain barrier, all that for protection. So that's why it's so important to make sure you're getting the right amount of sodium. And just for a little guide, a teaspoon is 2,400 mg of sodium if you're getting good quality sodium, like Celtic sea salt. So if you've just done an hour, maybe half a teaspoon is a good recommendation for you, but don't take that as my advice because it's all person dependent. If you want more information on that, go and get a test. If you get cramps a lot, that is because you're dehydrated. So that means you've got to drink more and you've got to have more salt. But main thing I believe is salt, because I get cramps even when I'm drinking, even when I'm peeing clear. It's because I don't have enough sodium in my body. So I need to make sure I get that sodium there. And it will all lead to fatigue. And what did we say about when you are tired, you are more likely to get injured? Now, outside factors. These can all do little, we're going to say, compound interest. If you don't know what that is, it's the 8th wonder of the world. And all these things will add up and they will multiply. So some examples are being stressed, always on the go, not having a rest, training, work, picking up the kids, training again, work, making your tea, putting your kids to bed. That is always being on the go. We've got partying, drinking. Obviously drinking is going to lead to more likely to be injured, because when you go into the training room, you're not going to be as focused, you're not going to be as present. Eating crap food. If you eat crap food, you're not giving your body the nutrition it needs. You're feeding it crap, so it's going to be crap. You are what you eat. Think you put petrol into a car, you fuel the car with what it needs. You need to do that with your body as well. All this will contribute to a bigger chance of injury if done incorrectly. So outside factors is a big one as well. These are my injury prevention tips. There are a few more, but these are the main ones I think about when it comes to not getting injured in the training room, because that's where most injuries happen, in the training room. Yes, you get injured on fight night, but not as common. That is today's video. Bish, bash, bosh, pow!